Greetings and peace. I would like to start this with Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be with you and yours. Today's presentation, I would like to talk about the Moorish influence on Freemasonry. I hope you enjoy this presentation and what I have to offer, and I thank you all for sticking by me. And again, I represent myself only. We first look at the Moorish legacy and how the Moors, who hailed from North and West Africa, were not mere conquerors but custodians of ancient sciences, masters of architecture, astronomy, medicine, alchemy, and philosophy. From 711 AD, their presence in Al-Andalus, modern Spain, transformed Europe, establishing libraries, universities, and schools of mystery. Their influence laid the foundation for Europe's Renaissance and Enlightenment, bringing Europe out of darkness, though seldom acknowledged by the Western initiatic system or the Eurocentric narratives. Now we look at the mysticism and sacred geometry on how Moorish architecture, notably the Alhambra, displays sacred geometry encoded with deep spiritual symbolism. These patterns reflected the divine order of the cosmos, not decorative but didactic. Freemasonry's square, compass, checkerboard floors, and pillars stem from these principles, not medieval Europe but ancient African and Islamic traditions. Al-Andalus was a beacon of light, and Al-Andalus became a center for translating ancient Hermetic, Egyptian, Greek, and Babylonian texts into Arabic, preserving knowledge lost to Europe. Under Moorish protection, Muslims, Jews, and Christians studied side by side, creating a mystical renaissance. The esoteric philosophies born here deeply influenced the Templars and later Masonic thought subsequently. There was a transfer of knowledge, as we see that during the Crusades and the Reconquista, European knights encountered the scientific, spiritual, and symbolic wealth of the Moors. The Knights Templar, ancestors of Masonic orders, adopted Moorish architectural methods and spiritual initiations. Freemasonry evolved as a coded transmission of this suppressed legacy, hidden in symbols. And most people don't know that Hugo de Payens also comes from the Moorish background of the Pagani tribe. And if you look at the crest of the Pagani tribe, it has the head of 3 Moors on there. And his grandfather was a Moorish Sufi who had initiated Hugo de Payens into the mysteries. And of course, as the Knights Templars were there in the Middle East, studying with the Sufis and with the Ismailis at King Solomon's Temple, Al-Aqsa Mosque. There is a significance of the Black Madonnas in the Moorish iconography. The Black Madonnas found in cathedrals across Europe trace their roots to Moorish spiritual imagery and the Kemetic mother goddess worship. These icons embody divine wisdom and hidden truth, later absorbed mystically into Freemasonry. Their African features and esoteric positioning contradict European religious narratives and affirm the Moorish presence. The Moors were master builders, as we see with the rise of the Gothic architecture, vaulted ceilings, rose windows, and pointed arches, owes much to Islamic and Moorish design. Moorish stonemasons, often enslaved or hidden in history, contributed to the operational guilds that birthed speculative Freemasonry. The rituals and secrecy of these builders evolved into the mystic lodges of later centuries. Analyzing the language, symbols, and rituals, we see that Masonic language includes Arabic loanwords and Hermetic ideas from Moorish translations. Initiation rituals echo Sufi practices, purification, enlightenment, and the journey from darkness to light. The pillars of Jachin and Boaz, the checkerboard floors, and veils of secrecy mirror ancient Moorish and Kemetic temples. And, of course, the suppression and whitening of history, as post-Renaissance Europe erased African and Moorish contributions to science, philosophy, and esoterica. Freemasonry, while rooted in global traditions, was rebranded as a European construct, severing it from its African and Sufi Islamic roots. Symbols remain, but the true origins were veiled, intentionally omitted to support colonial narratives. Of course, we see the Moorish influence in American Freemasonry. In Prince Hall Freemasonry and the Moorish Science Temple of America preserve Moorish mystical thought in African American traditions. Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught that African Americans are descendants of the Moors, inheritors of a forgotten spiritual empire. The emphasis on nationality, symbolism, and esoteric knowledge mirrors classical Masonic ideals, but from an African perspective. The esoteric continuum is that Moorish influence survives in today's Masonic lodges, sometimes knowingly, often unconsciously. The true spiritual lineage is a tapestry woven from Africa, Kemet, Al-Andalus, and Sufi traditions, not just Europe. The call now is to restore what was hidden, to reunite Freemasonry with its Moorish source and sacred truth. And most people don't realize is that why Hawaii, right, out of all of the 50 states in America, is the only state which has like a state holiday, a mandated state holiday annually celebrating Islam. They have an Islam Day. And if you look at the banner of the Kingdom of Hawaii, like hundreds of years before the U.S. invaded it and took it over, we see the banner with Moors wearing the fezzes representing the Kingdom of Hawaii, and how the last king of Hawaii was an Islamic shriner as well, as we see, and how that symbolism is even found in Freemasonry, in its lodges, in its structure, and all of that in between. And I have even written a book on this, on the lost Islamic history of Native Americans, which is available on Amazon. But yes, we must break the chains of suppression through truth, knowledge, and gnosis. Thank you for watching. Again, I hope you benefited from it, and I represent myself only. If any questions or comments, please email me at salmansheikh911@gmail.com. All images used were retrieved from public domain searches and are the rightful property of their respective owners. The images used in this video are for the purpose of nonprofit awareness and education, which is protected by the copyright laws of fair use, education purpose. All my videos are for nonprofit and education purposes. Thank you, all rights reserved.